Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Pros podcast, brought to you by Investor Fuel, the nation's premier real estate mastermind. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today we have J.D. Alexander. J.D. is an international property manager with deals ranging from the United States, Dominican Republic, Ghana, and Belize, specializing in Airbnb. JD, welcome to the show.
Dylan, I've been a big fan for years, man. Been following you. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for saying that. At the top of the show, I always like to talk about people's background and how they got into real estate. So how did you get in?
How did I get in? I got in because I lived in Chicago, and the girl I dated at the time, I stayed with her pretty much every night of the week. She said, "Why don't you just Airbnb your apartment since you're never there?" I Airbnb'd it, made some money. I realized that this is a much bigger industry and can be a whole business. And then that, not forced me, but motivated me to buy a house, which I did. I bought a house in East Nashville and then turned it into what we're doing now.
Did you know at the time that this is what you were going to be doing for the foreseeable future?
Not at all, man. I got into it like everybody did for short-term rentals, how passive it was. It's so passive. You make money while you sleep, which is true, but there's a lot of work that goes before and after, which doesn't make it passive. So
Yeah.
I thought I just wanted, actually I made a video about this not too long ago. I just wanted to make an extra. I had a goal of making 20 grand a month with just the Airbnbs, which I did that, but then I soon learned that there was a lot more potential. And also to manage all the ones that I started, I needed more help, which is, took away some of my profit, and then it turned into what we do now, which is primarily manage.
And so right now you're in Florida, you're in Miami, which before we hopped on here, I said this is the dream where I want to be. I'm there returning from the Dominican Republic a couple times per year, and I fly out of there. When did you move to Florida?
Well, right after college, I lived in Tampa for about 5 years. So I lived
Okay.
in Tampa. I moved to Chicago for a couple years. I moved back to Nashville. I lived in New York City, and I've been in Miami for the past year, just over a year, actually. I think I moved the week before my birthday in 2024, and I just had my birthday on the 15th. So just over a year I've been in Miami.
As an aside, I just love that area. I love that area. I speak a little Spanish, so I feel like it brings it out in me. I'm in Texas, so that's over here too. But there's just something about that Caribbean flair, if you will, over in Miami. But being that you're a property manager, and we talked about this before hopping on, I haven't spoken with someone who's doing international property management. You've got deals in the Dominican Republic and Ghana and Belize. How?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Well, so when you say property management, I guess that's a loose term. So we are more or less a marketing company for short-term rentals. When you A traditional property manager is going to do maintenance, going to do cleanings, going to do profit and loss statements, and in order to do that, you have to have boots on the ground wherever you're at. So what we do is what most people don't have is access to multiple different booking sites in a property management software system that is an all-in-one deal. So if somebody messages us from Expedia or Hopper or Booking.com or Airbnb, it just goes right into our software. So we have the software, we spend a lot of money on it, and it gives us direct connections to all these booking sites, which most people just list on Airbnb or Vrbo or Booking.com, one of the three. They hardly ever do 3 out of 3 or more than 3 booking sites. So we get to owners, they're only booking on one site, and we say, hey, we'll advertise you on all these channels. We'll send all the guest communications, we'll answer problems that they have, we'll do check-ins, check-outs for you, and the only thing that you have to handle are your cleanings. And most people love that because they don't want to deal with the customer support of it, which I don't mind it because I have people in place that do that, and it's beneficial for everybody. Now, another thing that we do is that some people don't want to use us and give us they think we're too expensive for the percentage that we take off every booking. So they say, look, I don't want to pay you a percentage off every booking that comes in.
Right.
So what we offer them is what we call pay per booking. So they're only listed on Airbnb. They let us list their property on all these other channels that they're not on. We send them the booking request. They don't have to accept them, but we send it to them and say, hey, somebody from Booking.com, they want to check in this day, check out this day. This is how much money you would make. Do you want to accept it? And of course, that's a win-win because who's going to turn down a reservation that they don't have booked already from a site that they're not on? Nobody, right? So we do a mixture. We either take over and do all of their messaging, all of their guest communication, or we just do it on a per reservation basis. Send everything to them, let them pick and choose ones they want, and then they pay us for the reservation that we give them.
How many properties would someone need to have as an Airbnb in order to utilize you, JD?
One. They just have one.
So if I'm a mom and pop here in Dallas, and I have a day job and I have a cleaner, but I don't have time to be communicating with my guests, it would still make sense for me to use someone like yourself who's offering the services that you provide.
Yeah, it just depends on how much you hate it, right? How much do you dislike doing the things that you don't want to do? And also, if you're looking at it from a profitability standpoint, your profits are going to go up by using us. That's just plain and simple. If you're getting more exposure, yes, you are having to pay out a commission per booking, but working with somebody that is a professional with this, that is actively looking to see how they can increase the visibility, the profitability, the bookings, all that. Somebody that's doing that all day, every day is going to outperform somebody that's doing it part-time. So, yeah.
Have you found that using this strategy that people could potentially increase their prices or no?
Say that one more time. Say it in a different way. I don't understand the question.
No problem. So for folks who are setting their price of the Airbnb per night, might potentially they be able to increase the price of the booking nightly because they're listed in multiple places?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the pricing, a lot of people are either overpriced or well underpriced. So if you talk to somebody that says I'm a 90% occupancy, they're underpriced and they're booked out 3 or 4 months. So right there, there's room for growth right there, just upping your prices and being more competitive. But yes, for sure. I mean, there's certain markets where Booking.com outperforms Airbnb. There's certain markets where VRBO, if you're not on VRBO, you're not going to get any reservations because they just dominate those markets. So yes, by being on more channels, you are going to be able to ask a higher price because you just get more people that are booking.
How did you, pivoting a little bit here, how did you come across the Airbnb owners who own those Airbnbs overseas? Did they come across you on social media? Did you know these people? How are they coming in contact with you? How are you coming in contact with them?
Paid ads, all paid ads. So everything that we do as a company, we don't do any cold calling. Everything comes into us from ads that we run all day, every day. People, and these people live in the States. So it's not like we're
Mm.
targeting Ghana. We're not targeting Belize. These are people that own properties all over the world, but have a presence in the US. See the ad, reach out. Hey, I have a property here. Can you help me with it?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
On a personal note, this is something that really deeply interests me because I get mixed feedback from real estate investors. Is it possible to do this remotely? Do I have to be where my properties are? A lot of people will say no, and a lot of people will say yes. The feedback that I get for you can do it, it is possible to do it remotely, is if you have people and processes in place, it is feasible, it is doable. The people would be the cleaner. And with Airbnb, from what I can tell, unless you have a terrible guest, maintenance is fairly minimal, as opposed to, and this is just from feedback from guests actually on the show, as opposed to a long-term rental, you tend to see more distress from a long-term rental than you see with an Airbnb. So I'm hopeful based off hearing this that, if I have a cleaner in place, I could potentially go to someone like JD and offboard a lot of the kind of potentially decision making, right? That goes into day-to-day operations of an Airbnb. Am I wrong in saying that?
Yes, you definitely can. So your properties will produce better. It will be in better shape whenever you're local and you get to go by and see those on a regular basis because you're going to. You're just naturally going to. It's a Sunday. You have somebody that just checked out. I got 20 minutes after lunch. I'll go by and take a look at it real quick. And then you're going to see things in there that your cleaner didn't report to you. They're very minor, could be very minor things, but you're going to see it because you care. It's your business, all that. Now, that being said, it's a lot smarter to have them spread out just from a diversification
Yeah.
because we all know short-term rentals are everywhere you go, they're getting crackdowns. They're putting
Yep.
restrictions in place. There's some cities that are completely outlawing it, like Dallas, Fort Worth. They completely outlawed short-term rentals. I think it was 2 years ago. I don't know if they ever changed it back or if they grandfathered in, but they just said no more short-term rentals in homes anywhere in the city. So if you had 100 Airbnbs, your business is shut down overnight.
I was there
So
in Addison when that happened. I think I was there the week that happened. I remember this because I went to a real estate meetup where Vanilla Ice was there. Funny enough, and he was a real estate investor, and so I got to sing "Ice Ice Baby" with Vanilla Ice. But they were talking about how Airbnbs were no longer allowed in Addison, and like, what are people going to do? So you have to be agile and be able to pivot. On a personal note, don't put all your eggs in one basket. For our new investors, Airbnb is great. Airbnb is great, but also have some other strategies out there in case you can't do that any longer.
well, and also, I mean, if you're an investor, let's say you're in Phoenix or Houston or Dallas, there are a lot of short-term rentals, and you're dead set on I want to do a short-term rental. Well, if you're starting there, you're going to, in order to make money and to be safe, you're going to have to go where you're going to have to be the creme de la creme. You're going to have a massive unit, and the barrier to entry is going to be very high. You got to buy a really nice house, a really big house. You have to put a lot of money into it. I mean, you're going to have to do a lot in order to stand out because people in those markets, they invested a lot and it just may not be feasible, right? So then you start looking, well, where else can I go? San Antonio is a good market. Well, there's a
Yep.
saturated market, but there's I used to own a couple of houses in San Antonio, so I'm very familiar. But then you could start looking at Nebraska, Omaha. You can start looking at Oklahoma. And again, that's a couple hours from where you're at. But if you're looking again from an investment standpoint, it's a better idea to travel a little bit further, have it outside instead of saying I live here in the city, I want to work here because I want to be local. Like that doesn't make sense. You're going to be potentially losing money. So you want to go
Right.
where it gives you the best possible chance to succeed with, I don't want to say the least amount of money possible, but with not having to invest so much and put so much on the line at risk.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I'll say it, because my first couple deals were in Texas, but then I had a couple that were in Oklahoma. I'm forgetting the names of the towns. And when I saw the market in Oklahoma, I'm like, this is the United States? I could be slightly off, but I want to say, and I hope I'm not too far off, but I want to say you could get new builds for like 140,000 a year and a half ago. I could be wrong, but I want to say that was possible. And thinking about, where I'm from originally in New Jersey, was born in New Jersey, it's just like, what's going on here? And so specifically right now I'm living in Denton, which is North Dallas. We're actually fairly close to Oklahoma. We're about 30 minutes south of Oklahoma. And we're seeing right now like this whole corridor, they call it the 35 corridor, get filled up from Dallas straight to Oklahoma is becoming like one big road, and the towns that are being built along it, these are all growth opportunities. And so for folks who are getting in, it might not seem like, well, what's going on out there? It's the expansion of everything. So you have Dallas literally expanding into Oklahoma as difficult as that is for some to believe. That's what's going on.
There's more people in the world. I mean, it's just we're multiplying. There's more and more people. Not everybody can afford the big cities, the expensive cities. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to start seeing a lot of people venture out in the Midwest and these flyover states just because, like you just said, you can buy a brand new house, have a yard, a fence, what everybody wants, some space for reasonable pricing.
Yeah, yeah, and uh, talking about the future a little bit here, um, Airbnb maintenance is a topic that my guests will talk about. We talked about this a little bit before hopping on the show here, but people are doing everything from uh, uh, robots that will cut the grass to apps that manage everything in one space. If you've got multiple Airbnbs, you can set the temperature, the lights, lock the doors, see vacancy. Um, uh, talk a little bit about that because I would imagine this is really your area of expertise, and how you see that changing potentially going forward, and what new things are on the horizon.
Well, I can't speak on the automation of landscaping yet. That is kind of cool to see. I have seen the bots or machines, whatever you want to call them, that are cleaning hotel rooms. I don't know how applicable that's going to be to a 1,500 square foot house and how great of a job it is. I still think we're obviously a ways away. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean,
Yeah, who
technology
knows? Yeah.
moves very quickly these days. Um, but yes, the automation of everything. I mean, that's how you're able to scale and do more and have less expenses. So as more and more technology comes out, you have to dive into it. You have to see what it is, even if it's not the greatest. You got to be knowing what's out there and the changes that they're making. So whenever it is up to par, you can jump in and be ahead of everybody, ahead of the masses. Because when the masses start, saying how great it is, your leverage is already gone, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just with everybody else. So if everybody else is going left, you want to go right. And if nobody's looking into AI or technology or doing all these things, it's probably a good thing for you to start looking into it.
JD, do you get a lot of this? People saying, "Well, why would I uh, hire you or use your services when I have an AI that does it already for me?" Is that out there?
No. Well, let's see. So what we do, what do? We list you on more channels. So can somebody do what we do? Can they learn the software that we have, go purchase it, and list on more channels? Yes. Why would they not do that? Because it's going to cost them a lot of money,
Yeah.
and they just don't want to learn to do it. So
Right.
I tell everybody that I talk to, like, look, everything we do, like, you can go do it. I can show you the company. You can reach out to them. You can pay the money. It's going to be probably a 1 to 3 month learning window. I don't know if that's something that you want to do because you're doing X, Y, and Z. This is a side hustle. This is your a little bit of extra money that you're trying to make. So I don't think you're going to do that. So I don't know what the original question was. Why wouldn't they just go do that? I mean, they can, they should, but I
Yeah.
guess most people get frustrated and or lazy with learning, especially technology, how it all operates.
Yeah, I'm curious to see as this evolves, and I think we're seeing it happen in real time. I feel like people with your skill set have uh, the ability to help people in so many spaces. Talking about like removing yourself from your business, getting out of the business, getting out of the day to day, and really, you know, being in that last wealth quadrant, so to speak. I feel like there's so many ways that we can automate these processes and utilize other people to not just distance yourself from your business in a sense, but literally increase your profits, like you're doing for others. Have you thought at all about other spaces that are like ripe for this type of disruption?
With what? Using technology that people are not using technology in?
And people like yourself who can quite literally put them in more places, manage I don't want to say the day to day, but the communication aspect of it, and allow people who are maybe too busy to dive in there. I can think of a couple ways, a couple industries in particular.
Yeah, I mean, what I see that's behind with the times are usually going to be the trades companies.
Yeah.
The guy that has owned his electric company, it's a mom and pop shop with five guys that he's owned it since the 80s or 90s or inherited from his dad, and they just this is how we do it. This is how the clients we've always had, and we've survived. And they still using paper or whatever.
Analog.
So those yeah, yeah. I mean, so that's the first thing that pops into mind are the trades. Trades, auto stores, auto parts, not auto parts, but repair
Dealers.
stores,
Too, yeah.
dealers. Well, car dealers, yes. I also own a car dealership in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's one thing that we see that everybody else is really lacking is most small car dealerships don't even have a CRM.
Is
Like
it
the
new or
most
used
basic
cars? You own new or used
used
cars? Okay.
used cars. Yeah, yeah. Anything from 10 to about $30,000.
Okay. What do you think about Turo? A little aside here. What do you think about Turo?
I think it's great if you're close to an airport and you own a car dealership. You should have all
Yeah.
your cars on there. Yeah.
I think it's great too. I was thinking about putting my 2018 Dodge Challenger uh, on there, but I'm like, I don't know. It's my car. I'm going to be driving it out there. I don't know, but I have a buddy in San Antonio who works for a Nissan dealership, and that's what he's doing to make money on the side, and I think that's great. But I think for most folks who maybe, like you said, in the trades or may have some type of business outside of what they're doing to make a primary income, it can seem a little bit daunting. Like, how do I scale this? But the reality is that if you do nothing, nothing is going to change, right? And so if you have someone like yourself coming in from the outside saying, "Hey, not only can I get you more bookings, but I can actually do this while increasing your profits," it's a no brainer. So dealers, right? Like you're saying, like very sometimes very limited communication, even when they have systems in place. I'm thinking like the restaurant industry where it can be hard to like book tables, and sometimes they get double booked and you show up and you're there waiting an hour. There's just so many ways that these industries can be disrupted. And frankly, I feel like they're lagging behind. I'm being a little long-winded here, but when I was in San Antonio, there was some restaurants who went out of business, and they said it was construction. They said it was the end of COVID. But in my mind, it was just like they just got outcompete. They just got outcompete.
Yeah. No, I mean it's the truest thing. Like, what worked 10 years ago is not working today. It's like you see an NFL football game from 2024 and you see an NFL football game from 1994. It's two different games. It's faster, bigger, stronger. Their schemes are better. I mean, it's you have to adapt with the times, with the technology, with the resources to go to battle. You have to. If you don't, you're gonna, it's. I just made another post about this. I forgot what it said, but anyways, you have to adapt. You have to adapt. You have to learn. You have to stay up with this with the times for sure.
I didn't realize that you were in the auto space as well. Talk a little bit about how you manage that and this, and how you avoid being overwhelmed.
Yeah, so I don't run that. I'm just the owner. I help get it going, and I have nothing to do with the day to day. There's no way I could run a car dealership and do what I'm doing now. Well, at least what I'm trying to do with this scalability where I'm trying to go. There's no way to do both of them effectively. I'm not Elon Musk. I don't know how he's able to do that. But yeah, I don't. I'm just at this point. I'm just the financial support is what it is.
I imagine it's a trusted friend, someone close who, or at least over the years, has been in a position where now that relationship is strong enough, and he runs it for you, or he or she runs it for you.
Yeah, it's my brother-in-law and my sister. Yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah,
trust him wholeheartedly. I mean, again, we started together, we built it up, and it took a good, I don't say it took that long, but it was definitely a year and a half, 2 years of working together and making sure that we all feel comfortable with one another for sure. I mean, it goes both ways too. They got to
yeah.
make sure that they don't think I'm going to do something erratic and just shut the thing down and stop funding. You know what I mean? So it's trust on both ends.
We don't want JD to have too much fun there in Miami, which can happen. But I think, for me in my life, the strength of someone's whole perspective, whole future is predicated upon their relationships. And I think a lot of newcomers, I did, underestimate this. They think it's knowledge. They think it's getting some type of additional certification, which can help. That, don't get me wrong, I've done it. I'm getting my real estate license. These things help. But this term, I call it, fanatical networking, being a networking junkie, or in your case, mining your close network. This is how you get things off the ground. This is how you delegate, and without doing those things, you're dead in the water. Like I tell people who are trying to get into real estate, and they're like, I'm going to one meeting a month. I go to this meetup. I'm like, one, you have a full-time job and you go to one meetup a month. Like you have to find ways to be literally in people's face. uh, when they're not there, they're thinking about you. They see you on the feed. That's the level. So if you don't got the assets, if you don't have the nest egg, if you can't go out and fix and flip a home yourself, you've got to be doing that. So when I hear that you have family that's running this dealership, I'm like, dude, that's the way to do it. It's about the relationships.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you just said that about the exposure that you have to anything. I was just, are you familiar with Brad Lee? Do you know
Yeah,
Brad Lee?
absolutely. Yeah,
I was just on his podcast last week, and we were beforehand talking about everything. And he's looking at my social media. He's like, "Are you trying to grow this?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he said, "Well, how many times are you posting?" I was like, "One." And he kind of scoffed at that. He's like, "Dude, you got it 4 or 5 times a day.
a
You
day.
got to flood yourself with this because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to grow it, and you have to ingrain yourself in this, just like anything else. You're starting a business. You're starting to flip houses. You're starting to wholesale. Whatever it is, you got to be around nothing but deals, be around nothing and think about it at all times. And that's how you're going to get growth, exponential growth.
I get a sense, JD, that you may, I don't know if you feel this, so that you may be a natural when it comes to some of this, the networking component of it. Do you feel that that's true, or was this a skill that you had to work on? For me, it was a skill.
Yeah, I'm not naturally a extrovert at all. I'm a recluse. I like to be by myself. I got my people, and that's it. I'll go to events. I mean, I've been to, lots of events, and I have to force myself to go out and talk. And I mean, I could talk when I want to. Don't get it twisted. I just don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a learned skill for me for sure.
I can say from my experience, it wasn't like I'm afraid to meet people because I wasn't, but I can say I'm still dealing with this, especially with posting 3 times a day. I feel like I'm bothering people. And what I have to shift this in order for me to get to the next level is like, yeah, I might be bothering some people, but they're gonna fall off. And do I really need those people? Versus the people who are at my level and far above my level, they see what I'm doing and they're like, oh, he's doing the thing that he needs to be doing. I'm seeing him all the time. Let me do a deal with him because I know that if I need to get in front of somebody, he's going to help me get in front of that person, or he's doing this versus like I'm worried about offending like my friend group because I'm posting too much. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the best known will beat the best product any day of the week, right? So if somebody is looking for a partner on a deal, they tend to go with the first person that pops in their mind. Doesn't mean that um, they're the most educated on that one deal. I mean, but they also have to have trust that you know what you're doing. So, yeah, I mean, the best known is going to help you get known, get seen, and get more deals. As far as offending no, I mean, it's if they're getting mad about that, I mean, I guess, I the only thing I struggled with, not that I offend them, it's just like, are these fools judging me? I'm scared to be judged. You know what I
That
mean?
was
Like
a better term, yeah.
I know they're laughing at me behind my back, and it's like, but it's like, who cares? Like they might laugh at you for 5 or 10 minutes, but it's not like they're sitting all day at their desk and sharing your videos with your other friends and just making fun of you. If they are, they're actually probably really good friends because the really good friends are the ones that make fun of you the most.
If they're sharing your content, they're helping you. But yeah, in my head, that's how I'm thinking, man. It's like I'm concerned. And I know our listeners can relate to this, especially the new people. You're like trapped in your level, and your level is no one's posting multiple times a day. They're probably not talking about real estate, and so you're like, is this gonna bother these people? Offend is probably the wrong, but it bother. But if you got to get in a new room, if you got to get in a new room, what do you got to do to get into that room? How do you get your business in the Dominican Republic, in Ghana, in Belize? It's through like guerrilla networking. It's through being everywhere.
The thing that I really past couple of years and just had the aha moment. It's like you see these guys that are very well known in whatever industry, and you're like, oh, they're cool. I'm a cool guy. Why wouldn't they want to hang out with me? And the fact of the matter is, you got to pay to be around certain people. It is what it is. You have to pay for their mentorship, their coaching, whatever, because these are the people that you want to be friends with is because of the work that they put in to get the notoriety for you to want to be friends with them. And they're not going to just, yeah, let's go grab a beer. They don't have time for that. They don't have time to have lunch with you on a Tuesday in the middle of the day because they're doing other bigger things. And in order for you to get their time, their attention, their be on their forefront, you have to pay them. And then once you get in
Yep.
front of them, you have to show your worth and not not be a schlep at the end of the day.
I can talk about that at nauseum. Truly, the fact that your time, it may seem like, especially for folks who are in the W-2 and feel like how do I break out of this? That your time is valuable, but like how valuable is it? There's people charging you know tens of thousands of dollars for a day of their time. That's not an exaggeration, and JD can vouch for that. And so when you think about it like that, it changes your perspective. It's like, just to be in the room with this person, I'm having to fork up like half of my annual salary. Like that's the time value. But we are coming up on time here, JD. So how can people get a hold of you?
You can go to our website, travelwithtraverse.com. There's a submission button there. Shoot me an email, jd at travelwithtraverse, or you can find me on Instagram, jdalexander1.
All right, folks, that wraps up another episode of the Real Estate Pros podcast by Investor Fuel. And hey, look, if you are an international real estate investor and you want to increase your profits, if you want to take your hands off, the steering wheel a little bit and let someone else drive for you, maybe reach out to JD. So on that note, I'll let you go. Thanks for hopping on here today. And until next time, we'll see you.
Hey, Dylan.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.